everyone. Welcome to episode 25 of Through the Back Loop. This is a knitting podcast with lots of sewing mixed in as well. And I just want to welcome you. And it feels a little strange since I haven't been here for a while, but I'm back and I hope that you're having a happy summer. I certainly am. I've been busy just kind of having a summer of exploration, both knitting wise and kind of getting back out into the world. And it's, gosh, the whole summer is just flying by. I know school started back again, so for some people it probably feels like summer's over, but for me, I'm still right in the throes. I live in Southern California. I live in Oceanside. And I always feel like the summer here is a little delayed because we do have May gray and June gloom, and then I always feel like the summer's a little delayed, and it stays so warm on into the fall. So certainly in the throes of summer right now and enjoying every minute, and I hope you are too. As well as exploration with knitting, and I'll go into specifics here in a minute. I've been lucky enough to actually fly in an airplane. I went to a wedding in Northern California, and my mom's been to visit, and we've been out to restaurants, and so it's been a super fun summer. I know we all have to continue to be vigilant and careful and really smart about what we're doing because of the virus, but I don't know. I feel like we know the parameters, and if you're really smart about it, you can stay pretty safe. So certainly an upgrade from last summer for sure, and I hope yours has been as well. I feel a little funny. I feel like I have somewhat of a speech problem at the moment. I just got Invisalign, and I have trays in my mouth, and I'm not used to talking with them on. I think this is just week number 4 of my Invisalign, but I've never recorded a podcast before with them on, and I'm just now realizing how much different it feels. So not a big deal, not a big deal. Okay, so as far as knitting exploration, the first thing I wanted to share with you today is if you watched a previous episode, you may know that I am taking a knitting course with Bristol Ivy called Brioche from the Roots Up. And this is an ongoing class this summer. And I'm finally conquering my fear of brioche. I knew that a little bit of the basics, but I didn't know how to do I did not know how to do increases or decreases, and she really does start off with something very basic. We made this cowl to begin with, and this is called the EXEMPLUM cowl. It's Bristol's pattern, and she starts off with showing you how to do brioche, in the flat, I guess is what you call it, and then of course incorporates the pieces so that you learn how to do it in the round. And then, all kinds of different little skills were incorporated in this cowl. And it was on, this yarn is Malabrigo. It's 2 different colors of Malabrigo worsted. And I'm trying to remember, I didn't write down the needle size, but I want to say it was a 6, I believe. And then how to do, I don't know if you can tell, but I can't remember what she called that. If it was syncopated, I forget what she calls it, when your rib, you end up, instead of starting with a brioche knit, you start with a brioche purl, so it offsets it just by 1. And so this was our first project, and it was great because you can see what you're doing. It's nice big stitches, and she has the classes on Teachable. You watch the videos, and then she has a weekly Zoom where people can show their projects or you can ask questions. So anyway, I did finish that. And then the second one, and I didn't write down the name of this fingerless mitt. That was the second project, and I actually am not even really going to finish this because I made a mistake somewhere and decreased. What I think I did was I decreased some stitches, and then I didn't do the corresponding increase, and so it's too small. And you can see down here where I put a lifeline with dental floss, which I've just left it in there. Of course you can take it out, but I also looked, and the nail in the coffin for me on this was I found a mistake down here. It's not a huge mistake, but I found one. And to ladder down and correct, like she kind of shows you how to do that, but it's actually on a lace decrease, and it's, to me, not worth the brain damage, especially since I already goofed up the stitch count. So this was just kind of a learning, I'm just thinking of it as a learning project. And then the next project that we're working on, which I'm a little behind, is going to be a brioche shawl. So we'll see how that goes, because I've gotten kind of, I've been sort of, my knitting ADHD has kicked in a bit, and something else jumped in front. So I'm kind of pausing for a moment on the brioche, but I will be picking it back up. But it's been really good. I am a monogamous knitter by nature, and so I ended up not finishing another shawl from previous episode, and got all attracted and drawn into the brioche. And now I'm getting, I'll show you my whip here in a minute, but something else jumped in. So I don't know, I've been kind of in knitting ADHD mode here lately, but that's okay. I think that's okay. You don't have to be the same way all the time. You can mix it up. Let's see, I do have some finished objects. The first one is what I'm wearing. This is the ANKER, what's it called? ANKER Summer Sweater by Petite Knits. I have not blocked this yet, but I've worn it a few times, and it's a great sweater that so many people have made. I know so many people in my knitting groups that have made it, and just several of you online on YouTube have said, oh, I'm doing that, or I've done it. And yeah, it's a great little summer top. I feel like this has kind of grown a bit. It has this particular yarn is Sandus Garn Lina, L-I-N-E, and I'm not sure how you say that, if it's Lina. This color is called Curry, and I did it on a size 5. And this is this yarn is cotton and linen, and it might be the cotton that's kind of, I just feel like it's getting kind of growing. So I might, like I said, I have not blocked it yet, and what I might do is soak it, get all the water out of it, and then put it in a laundry bag and dry it. Stand there next to the dryer and just do it for a few minutes at a time, but just see if I can shrink it up just a little bit, because it just kind of feels like it's growing. I love it, but if it grows very much more, it's not gonna be fitting me correctly. So probably like I said, I did this on a size 5. If I could go back, I would probably go down to a 4. Even though I did a gauge swatch. Here's my gauge swatch right here. And I was just laughing to myself this morning. This is so funny. I did this gauge swatch, and it's right here on my computer desk, and I figured out that this makes a really great rug mug. I put my coffee on it every morning, and this morning I was looking at it going, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to use the rug mug more than I'm going to wear the sweater. But I'm wearing the sweater a lot too, so I shouldn't say that, but I think this has definitely been the most useful, the most utilitarian and useful swatch I've ever made. Anyway, so while I was standing up, I should have shown you the shorts that I'm wearing today, if I can. Ollie's in the way. Ollie's behind me, sleeping as normal. I don't know if you can see him. Hi, Ollie. Say hi. Sorry, Ollie. Anyway, these shorts are linen shorts that I made, and I think I may have shown these earlier, but these are the POMONA shorts. They have an elastic waist. I've worn them a ton. They're made out of linen that I got from Style Maker Fabrics, and have really worn those a lot. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Finished objects, also just a pair of vanilla socks. These are top down, 60 stitches on a size 1, and they are, the yarn is Arna and Carlos's yarn, sock yarn, but I lost the ball band a long time ago, so I can't really tell you the colorway, but I do love their sock yarn. It's really durable and holds up well. So that was a finished object. What else do I have here? Oh, so I'm kind of just interdispersing knitting and sewing today. Most of the time I will put those in 2 different segments, but since I'm kind of in my ADHD mode, why not keep going with it? So this finished object is MCCALL'S pattern. I have the envelope right here. It is this one, MCCALL'S 6446, so 6446. This is a pattern I've had for a pretty long time, and the fabric is one that I've had for a long time as well. This fabric I got from Mood Fabrics. I got it on their online store, I think last summer, and it is a linen, and I had only gotten 2 yards of it, so I knew that if I was going to do one of these jumpsuits, that I was going to have to do the short one because I only had enough fabric for that. There is a possibility that I may do the longer version, so I did view D, and there is a possibility that I'll go for C, the longer version. I just have to make sure I have enough fabric. But I was thrilled that I finally used this fabric after holding on to it since last year. And it is shorts. I'll try to put a picture of me wearing it up. This was really good for me because it has a square neck, and it has a lined bodice, and I just ended up lining it with just muslin fabric, you know, because I didn't want it to be too stiff or thick, so I just used really simple muslin fabric. I did finish the seams with my serger, and the thing that I loved that I learned was I've put in invisible zippers before, but not for a pretty long time, and so of course, good old YouTube, I figured out how to put in this invisible zipper, and you cannot even see it at all. And the other thing that, you know, always the moment of truth, and with the fabric or with the stripes you can't tell, but my my seam actually lines up right where there's always that possibility that you can goof it up. I'm trying to decide if I want to put a hook and eye on the back or not. It it almost looks like it'd be better not to. But anyway, I did, to create this, I did do a muslin and try it on because most people don't have, their measurements are not going to be exactly like the pattern. So I had to do some modifications. I always do a small bust adjustment, and then I kind of graded, like the top is a little bit smaller, I think a size smaller than the bottoms, and because I'm kind of pear-shaped. And but some of the things that I love doing, and I'm very proud of this little detail right here, is I matched up, and the way I'm holding it you can't tell, but I matched up the pocket with the the main part of the lower portion of the shorts, and that is not easy to do, at least not for me. And with all these stripes, I had to kind of pick and choose about where to put the stripes. So I chose to put one right down the center. It may be very hard for you guys to see, but I strategically chose where I was going to have things match, because you can't have everything match everywhere. But I was really happy, at least with that one, I got that to match. The other side, not so much, where the pocket is right here. I don't know if you can tell, that one doesn't match, but I can live with it. Because I do have a crooked back. One of the straps is a little bit longer than the other. And then I did have the strap and the bodice matched up. So there was lots of little strategic decisions. One funny thing that just happened, and it's just from working with stripes, is in the very back, they end up like kind of, when I have it on, it almost looks like I have a tail, because the vertical point comes up like that. Anyway, it's just kind of interesting. But that was fun. Took some brain power, but it ended up being something that I can wear. It's linen, so it's very comfortable, and just really good for this time of year. So that was definitely a win. And at some point I'll probably make another one, but I am such a slow seamstress. Well, I'm a slow knitter too, but I think now that I have all the fit issues figured out on the pattern, I wouldn't mind doing it again. But man, I made it twice, because I made the first time in the regular muslin and then had to make all the adjustments and make it again. But I guess that's part of the fun too. It's just problem solving everything. Let's see, what else? Let's see, I guess I'm gonna just kind of jump into works in progress. The first one we'll do, it's kind of a knitting and sewing one. This little sweater right here is one that I bought at the Knitting Guild's, what do they call it? Not yard sale. They have like a yarn, everybody donates either finished projects or yarn, and they sell it as a fundraiser. It was back in June, and I went and I bought some mohair, but I also bought this cute little sweater off the rack, and for $5. And then after I bought it, I found out that that my friend Susan knit it. And she was like, oh my gosh, she goes, if I would have known, I would have just given it to you. But it was kind of more fun that that it happened the way it did. But she, and I was asking her for the name of the pattern, and she doesn't remember. So sorry if you're interested, but it is this really comfortable cotton, and it's really great for just a light sweater, like if you were along the coast and you just needed a little something. And she was just telling me that she never ended up putting the buttons here on the side. So I decided I'm going to make a skirt out of this fabric, and this eyelet I also got from Style Makers, and I didn't realize these eyelets were going to be so big. So I'm definitely going to have to line it. But I thought if I wear it with this, I found some buttons at Joann that kind of mimic the flowers on the skirt. Let me see if I can hold it so you can see. And let me see here. I need another set of hands. Anyway, there it is. And I thought it was great because it kind of mimics the fabric. So I hope to make the skirt, and the skirt I'm looking at, unless I find a better pattern. I'm not 100% sold on this, but I'm thinking of doing the Simplicity 1369, just because I want it to be kind of a full skirt. The only thing that I'm hesitating about on this is that it says that the waistband sits an inch below your natural waist, and I've been wearing high-waisted stuff so much now that might feel really weird, or it might feel kind of old-fashioned. I'm not sure if I'm sold on this, but I bought this because it was 99 cents. I was at Joann and they had their Simplicity patterns on sale. So I might give it a try unless I can find something that I'm really, really super excited about. But I am going to line it again because those eyelets are so gigantic. So, and I'm hoping that this little sweater will go with it. I don't know how everything's going to fall. I may have to do another top to make it all work. Like if this sweater's short and the skirt is you know, lower than your waist. So I don't know how it's going to all fit together, but I'll just fiddle with it until it works out. But anyway, kind of fun. Looking forward to that, and that should be a pretty easy one to pull off. But then I was all into the brioche and really learning so much, and I do know how to increase and decrease now. And the next thing I'm learning is a double decrease, I think, or a center decrease. So I do need to hop back on it. But after watching a bunch of other YouTubers and also Instagram, a lot of people I follow on Instagram, I got all mesmerized by the half and half triangle wrap, I believe is the correct name. And Caddy Jack's podcast, the ladies from Caddy Jack's got everybody going. And they're doing it for Rhinebeck, and I am not going to Rhinebeck, but I do want to enter the contest. This pattern is by Pearl Soho, and they are having this really great contest with really nice prizes. And but you have to be finished by Rhinebeck. So I think that's mid-October, I believe. That's right. But everybody's just going on and on about how mesmerizing and comforting this is. And I will put up a picture of the pattern. And it really is. It's comforting. It is 6 skeins of yarn. So it's 3. I chose, I believe this is called Mushroom. And this color is, I think it's called Pink Flamingo, or maybe Flamingo. So it was 3 of this color, 3 of this color. And then you can do all these really cool ways of, and I'm right in the middle of a row, so I'm not going to be able to show it. But you can do all these incredible different ways of using this wrap. And, you know, everyone's been going on and on about how great linen quill is. And I agree. It is just, it's because it's on the bias, it's super drapey, and just there's something about this is wool and alpaca and linen, and it just has such a good hand. So I really do understand why everybody's in love with it. You know, some people are they're on their second second. And I don't think I'm going to do a second one. I mean, 6 skeins of fingering weight yarn is just an awful lot. And I have all these other things that I'm trying to do. I got to get on my brioche shawl. So anyway, oh, and then I'll tell you some of my future ideas as well. But this is great. And the other thing that happened is that, you know, I kind of get obsessed when I start a project, and I guess that's why I'm monogamous, because it's the only thing I want to work on right now. And so I feel like I might be getting behind in the brioche class because I'm just obsessed with this. But it does have short rows. The pattern calls for wrap and turn, but Caddy Jacks did a little tutorial that you can find with using German short rows. And then Leslie Friend on her podcast showed how to get this really nice edge, because you slip the last 2 stitches on your row, and it just puts this really pretty, nice, even edge on it. So I'm doing both of those. So I think that those 2 things is what makes it so meditative, because on one end you're doing a German short row, then you knit to the end, and you're doing your 2 slip stitches, and you start again. So it's kind of this nice rhythm that at each end you're doing something a little different. And then the rest of the time you're just doing garter stitch. So it's very relaxing. I did stumble a bit in the beginning, and everybody talks about how relaxing it is. In the beginning, it wasn't for me. I kept having these accidents happen to me. Like I tripped over my knitting and pulled a bunch of stitches off. And then I had to go down. I mean, I had to try to ladder down. And when you're laddering down and fixing a stitch with stockinette, it's very clear whether it's a knit or a purl. But when they're garter, it isn't, because, well, I don't know if you know what I mean, but with garter, to me, it's a lot harder to fix it, because you have to decide, okay, you know, which row am I on, and do I, you know, you knit no matter what, but you have to have it lined up just right. Anyway, I had a little bit of stress in the beginning, but it's gotten much more relaxing now. So I do see what people mean about it. And I'm just showing you kind of a big wad of fabric, but you'll be able to tell more with the pictures that I put up. So anyway, that's what I'm working on right now, and that's all I really want to work on. I don't know. I don't know why I'm a monogamous knitter. I just feel this commitment, and you get to know the fabric, you get to know the yarn, and to jump around just doesn't feel good to me. I like to just stay with whatever world I'm working on at the moment. So anyway, that is my major work in progress, and really the only thing that I've been working on recently. Let's see. So as far as like future projects, you know, I am going to do the sewing thing that I showed you. And then already I know I have to work on my brioche shawl, my Bristol Ivy brioche shawl, which I don't even have a picture yet. I'll try to next time. But the other thing that I'm already excited about is, and I've never done it before, but I really want to do it this year, is the Stephen West, I guess it's a mystery shawl knit along that he does every year. And I just saw a promotion about it, and I think September 1st, they're going to be talking about kits and yarn choice. And then I think it starts on October 1, and I'm not sure, I think it goes for a couple of months. But the last couple of years, I've just always really enjoyed seeing other people doing it. And Sarah in one of my knitting groups did a beautiful shawl last year. And it seems like the last couple of years, when I kind of wanted to do it, I'm right in the throes of holiday knitting and have some big plan for gifts. And I just decided this year that I'm not going to do that. Not that I won't make any gifts, but I'm not going to go through where, like last year, I made socks for every single person in my family. And oh my gosh, I was so sick of socks, of those Christmas socks by the time I was done. And I'm sure that everybody liked them for at least 5 minutes, but I just decided it wasn't worth, 2 months of staying so focused on that. So this year I am going to do Stephen West's mystery shawl. And I love all of his stuff. So even though it's a mystery, I know I'll love it. So looking forward to that. So as I'm saying this out loud, I realize, oh my gosh, all these shawls. So that'll be, the half and half wrap, the brioche shawl, and then Stephen West. That's a lot of shawls. I don't know why I'm doing that, but just the kind of the way things have rolled out. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about for the future. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. I had met the most interesting person the other night. I went to my knitting group in Oceanside, the one that I've just sort of been going to lately. They meet every couple weeks down in Oceanside at a restaurant and just have a couple hours of knitting and a drink and dinner. And I went the other night, and it's put on by Heather of UU Yarns, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a great yarn company. She does a great job with it. I encourage you to check out her website. But there was, I ended up chatting with her sister who was visiting. She lives just an hour north of here, and her name is Nancy, and her last name is Queen, and she's just a cool lady. And I just, we just kind of struck up a conversation, and just randomly said, so are you in the knitting world? Are you in the knitting industry or in the knitting world like Heather, like your sister? And she goes, well, yeah, actually I am. And we started chatting, and she has been around. She's actually very famous. She's known as Noble Knits since her last name is Queen. And she started chatting with me and telling me about these new online knitting courses that she's teaching. And so I just wanted to throw this out and see if anyone might be interested. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but I got on her website, and oh my gosh, it's really cool. And especially if you or someone is just kind of starting out, she has you've probably, after I started looking around, is like, oh, I've watched some of her YouTube videos before, because she has all these knitting tips. And when I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, of course. And I mean, she has like 32,000 followers. I'm happy that I have 900 of you. But anyway, I encourage you to get on her website. She is doing there's 3 things that are kind of going on right now: a 30-day growth course. And I think that one is maybe for people that are beginning knitters. So if you have some friends out there that want to start just from the beginning, just really easy to understand, and it goes in a really sequential order. I have a couple of friends that I'm going to pass this on to. And then there's one that's a shawl boot camp and a COWL boot camp. Anyway, I'm going to put it below, and I'll put her website down in the description box as well. But I just really encourage you to check it out. She just has on her blog lots of neat ideas for different cardigans, and just a variety, a whole plethora of knitting topics. So I encourage you to check it out. And wow, I'm just so glad that I asked that question, because it was really fascinating that, just happened to run into her. So really cool. Let's see. The other thing, and I think most people, if you watch a lot of knitting podcasts, I hope that you're tuning in to Andrea MOWREY's weekly podcast called I'll Knit If I Want To. She is not only adorable, but just such a genius and so talented and so giving of her knowledge. And every week, I think they go up on Fridays, she talks about all kinds of different topics that people send her questions. And almost every week I learn some new little tidbit. And she is just very unassuming. It made me feel good that she just records from her messy craft room, although her craft room's not nearly as messy as mine. But I don't know if you noticed, I actually cleaned up for you guys. I hope somebody's appreciating it. Actually, my son was just here, and he slept in this room on an air mattress. And so I was forced to clean everything up. So it wasn't just for you guys, it was also for my son. But I had, you know, it gets kind of embarrassing around here sometimes when I look at my videos and I'm like, oh, I should have at least cleaned that up. But anyway, I wanted to share with you kind of some of those, what category would that be? Knitting media things that are really worth looking at. There's just so much out there and so much to learn and so many inspiring people. Anyway, that's really all I have for you today. I am going to, you know, as I always do, put some pictures at the end. Again, the world has, you know, I've been exploring back out and had a wonderful time up in Northern California at the most beautiful wedding. My daughter's best friend got married. Katie and Jonathan got married. So I'll put a couple of pictures up from that. I did make my dress. I'll show you. I had mentioned it before and it turned out great. Had a wonderful time. Let's see what else. My mom came for a visit. It was her birthday and we got to celebrate. We went out to eat and she was here for a week, and we got to go up and see my daughter's new house and just stayed really busy. And so the summer is just zooming by, and been living life to the fullest. I always feel like my knitting kind of brings me down to earth and grounds me, and I hope that it's doing the same for you. And I hope that you are having a happy, happy summer. So until we meet again, take good care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.